Hi, good morning. So, yeah. Have any of you noticed the NPC or OP stare? Because this is something that I've been noticing, but recently, and there was a peculiar thing that happened yesterday. It was a bit like, Village of the Damned. You go, these blonde kids, and they're all evil, aren't they? And they have that stare, and it's like... So, I was in the car with my friend, we were up on the moors, and we just parked there to just watch the sunset, which was lovely. And it always helps, really does help my state of mind to do that. And there was this group of people. One of them was blabbering on about joining the army and how wonderful that was. And we just sat there in the car, just listening to these people talk. There was a whole group of them. And just thinking, what the fuck? And then the guy turned around and he gave me that stare. I can't even mimic the stare because it was just like, whoa. And then another one of them just turned around and stared. It's that stare. It's like, I don't know, it's like being an Irish Protestant and Jerry Adams giving you a look going, we know where you live, something like that. It was a bit like, fuck. And I mean, it was eerie, it was weird, it was disconcerting. And I've noticed it before. Only I hadn't noticed that I've noticed it. The stare. So I had some really good comments from my last little video, and I thank you all for your comments, because you're all wonderful people. You really are. You're all very precious and beautiful and wonderful people. And yeah, just to reply to one comment, leprosy, yes, that's right. Maybe we should all get together and start a pretend leper colony, people, somewhere in Tennessee, just round the corner from you. And I mean, really, it feels that way. It feels like you should have a board around your neck. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. It feels like you do have a board around your neck which says unclean, do not touch, leper, or something. And you get the weird stares from the empty ones, that give you that really weird, eerie stare. And you think, whoa. Now, it truly is like being in a Truman Show. It is like, just weird. But then, how many of you get the synchronicity? And that's just ongoing as well, isn't it? Like a language that speaks to us. I mean, none of us know what's happening or what's going to happen or what this really is. And that is deeply disconcerting because there's so many, mostly fearful notions about this. And trust is TRUS, a 5-letter word. That's all that is, really. I mean, we don't really trust, do we? After what we've been through. So, that did my fingers hurt. So, and there's, for most of us, for a lot of us, I mean, we've done the gamut, we've run the gamut of all the conspiracy theories and the this and the that and the U and the R and the up and the down and the whatnot. And it hasn't, it's helped clarify a lot of stuff, yes it has, but it's also ignited a paranoia in a big way, you know. Oh God. I mean, you see them walking their dogs, right? And they always like to put muzzles on their dogs. And they're, you know, dogs like to sniff things and mooch about and do stuff, and it's like, no, come here, you know. I don't get that. It's all about control. Got to control everything and do the same thing we've always done over and over again and whatnot. But anyway. It's the fear, the dark side of it all, the underbelly. And I think that, in some sense, that is the elephant in the living room, because people studiously avoid those subjects. They avoid subjects like suicide, for example, because it's shrouded in fear and whatnot. And I'm a big believer in getting it all out in the open and calling it what it is, or what we think it is at the very least. We don't know what it is, do we? But we can call it for what we think it is at the very least. You know, there's so many things in life that people like to ignore and pretend do not exist, like depression. Oh, there's an imbalance in your brain when you have depression. That's what the doctors say, which is complete nonsense, actually. It isn't true. You know, depression is a very natural thing. In some people, it denotes awakening. It's a sense that you get this sense that everything is wrong, but you as yet haven't awoken to the fact that it actually really is. You know? I cannot accept that we are here, that this... I came across this thing on YouTube. It's called the Purgatorium. It's a little clip that I'll try and find, and I'll put it in a link, as a link in the box below. That sort of made sense to me. But here's the thing, if life gets so hard, so adverse, that you simply can't take any more, and then say you do commit suicide, and then you end up going to the place where all the people go that have their NDEs and, you know, whatnot, and they say, oh well, that was very naughty of you, now we're going to send you back to do it all over again. But it's like, well, I'm going to fail again because it's been so hard that it's not actually physically, mentally doable. So I mean, fucking... I guess I'm just... Oh, wow, swallows. I love swallows. They're beautiful little birdies. They're so cute. My cat likes them too. Just... But you know, I actually get the feeling that the best work and the best progress, in a sense, perhaps, possibly, maybe, is done when we delve very deeply into the dark. Not wallowing. I don't mean that. I don't mean wallowing, but I do mean delve into it, because as in dive into it and swim in its currents, as it were, because it's a very real, tangible thing. And we live in a world where it's studiously denied at every opportunity. This is why people talk about banal subjects, and everybody's busy pretending that everything is just fine when it blatantly isn't. Because the dark side, the darkness all around us is, of course, some sort of reflection or some sort of it's a communion, in a sense, with the darkness within us. I mean, we're fucked up, right? We are. And we do stupid stuff, and we make bad choices, and we make mistakes, and everybody does. And then society makes you feel very bad and very guilty and very ashamed. It makes you feel bad and dirty and worthless. And it does that because it denies the very existence of darkness. That's why prisons are full of people that will just go out to reoffend. Because we're not looking at the roots. We're not looking at the truth in any way. Everybody continues to deny the existence of severe depression, of anxiety, of eating disorders, of self-harming, of psychopathy and sociopathy and all kinds of fucking torturous, nasty shit in this world. Everybody just, And so everything becomes stigmatized. This world is like one giant fucking stigma, basically. Yeah? And people with strong Plutonian energy in their charts, I find, are often the ones that ferret it out, that see it. We have a penchant for seeing it, for knowing it. Yeah. And you often get these prophets, I call them prophets, like Bob Marley was a kind of prophet, and he saw, but they're very flawed, aren't they? And we're very flawed as well. And perhaps that's why we see it more so than others. I don't know. But then they're the little people, aren't they? The caricatures, the cartoon people. They don't see, obviously, because they're not real, but... Yeah, that stare. I kid you, honestly, it was like Village of the Damned, It's like... Because one thing is for sure, people. I mean, back in the 90s, none of this shit was happening, this whole Jeffrey Epstein debacle. I mean, really. Talk about fairy tales, eh? Things are coming up and out, the boils are being lanced, as it were, but it's not happening anywhere near fast enough, and it's quite obvious that most people don't really pay attention, or immediately go into a kind of, oh, that's bad, and oh, that's disgusting, judgment and reactionary behavior. Because that's one thing society loves to do, is point fingers and judge other people, I mean, my mind does it all the time, and I watch myself doing it, but I sort of don't express it anymore, because I think at the end of the day, unless I'm in that person's shoes, what do I know? I don't know damn thing, Everything is stigmatized, everything is it's denial. And that's going to have to change if anything is to happen. But then again, maybe that's not how that works. I still quite like my analogy of it all being a bit like an airport, and different people have perhaps different destinations, but I do know one thing, that, if life gets so tough, so bloody difficult that you just cannot take anymore, and say, do call it a day, then that should just be like a tick on the box, as in, okay, fair enough, yeah, okay. Or maybe, that is the only way out. I don't know. I wouldn't say it is, actually, but I don't know. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents for today, really. And yeah, we are not alone. We are not alone, but we are scattered, aren't we? All over the place. Surrounded by these, you know, weird people that are behaving strangely, more so now than before, definitely. Something's up, guys, I know that much. Something is definitely up. I mean, think about it, right? Truly, back in the 90s, it was very different. There was just then the internet, and then we went through that conspiracy phase, and some of us are still going through that. We're beginning to realise that the world is not at all the way they told us it was in school, and we're beginning to see and understand, and then we start going within, and then we understand more, and then it's coming through layers and layers and layers of just shit. You know, and you get the triggers and the catalysts, you know, like I said, shit happens and it just turns everything upside down, and you suffer and you go through more shit, and you keep going within, and you keep doing that, and so forth and so on. And then you get to a point where you simply don't know your ass from your elbow, and you don't know what's going on anymore, and that's pretty much where I find myself now, and some of you obviously as well. And then I log on, and I had a dream about the Matrix, and I log on and it says, "Wake up, Neo. There is no spoon." Because if everything is made up of atoms, and atoms are merely empty, not that I'm saying this is true, because whatever scientists tell us, it's probably a load of bullshit, but if it is, then none of this is real, and I don't believe it is real. Not really, because I've seen so much evidence of that. Of it just behaving oddly, misbehaving, you know. So we'll just have to wait and see what transpires, I guess. You know? But there are both light and dark in this world, we do know that. So maybe for today, I'll try and find a little bit of light somewhere. Within, without. I'll see you all later.